Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction and audiofic. This is a new series, A Winter's Dream, and it's a Miraculous AU for Christmas. So I hope you enjoy it. Massive shout out to Marge for her beautiful artwork in the thumbnail. It was actually gifted to me as a fan art piece and it helped to inspire this story. So make sure you go and send her loads of love. Make sure you comment down below what you think of it. Make sure you smash the like button. And yeah, it's a completely AU series, so it's a bit of a fun, it's a bit of a twist on it, so I hope you really enjoy it, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on the rest of this series. Other series are happening at the moment, and one shots and ones to come, and enjoy. Chapter 2. You know that scene in a nature program where the camera is able to slow everything down to the smallest of seconds? Like watching a flower opening, or the beat of a hummingbird's wing. To the naked eye, it's not possible for a human to see it, but through a lens. For that moment to be slowed, the whole world opens up. For Maria, as Kat stood before her, the world slowed to the point she saw every tiny detail, but couldn't believe it. It wasn't possible. Knowing how it would look if she saw it through a regular person's eyes, her friend's eyes. Everything had slowed down to a split second, including her brain, struggling to comprehend the situation. His warm breath on her skin, his green eyes trying to communicate without words, the touch of his fabric, the way his gloved hand felt against her skin. Even her heart had slowed to the point each beat was a pound against the wardroom, loud and powerful enough to be felt across the land, a warning sign for all to see, and blocked out any other noises. All this told her this wasn't a dream. This wasn't a moment of insanity that she was imagining. Instead, the facts of reality were simple. There was a man in her bedroom who resembled her fictional character, Cat Noir. But that was the point. He was a fictional person. She had created and imagined. There was no Cat Noir, and yet there was this man, towering above her, holding onto her shoulders. Was he a fan? A very dedicated fan who had discovered who she was and climbed the 10 stories to a balcony and dressed up in cosplay? As that thought started to sink in, she began to wish he was in fact her fictional character. She had finally given in to her delusions and immersed herself into her miraculous world. Then another thought hit her, causing a spike of adrenaline to shoot through her brain and bring everything back to normal speed again. She wasn't alone. Teeks. She had to warn her. If this man was able to climb her balcony, what else was he capable of? Was he dangerous? She needed to warn her friend. Teeks needed to leave and get help. As if this man could read her thoughts, as quick as her mouth started to open, a hand jumped from her shoulder and slammed across her mouth, muffling her voice. Her eyes widened in fear, her breath stilled in her mouth. "I'm sorry. You were about to scream, which would have resulted in panic." His voice was low. His breath tickled against her cheek and ear. "I know it's a lot to ask right now, but I need you to trust me, Marinette." Okay, maybe she wasn't the delusional one here. The man was such a fan of her books that not only did he dress up as Cat and climb to a balcony, but he actually believed the writer was Marinette. She wasn't safe. Her friend wasn't safe. fear turned into panic. Her breath became shallow. Her head was spinning and her vision was blurring at the edges. No, she needed to think. She needed to breathe. Sorry for this. When I take my hand off, I need you to not scream, but hear me out. Let me explain. Can you do that for me, princess? Sorry, Marinette. What was it she had seen in the films? Play along. Agree to the hostage taker's demands. That way you can find an opportunity to escape and get to safety. She nodded her head in agreement, the leather rubbing against her lips. Please, I am begging you. Hear me out before you form a plan and warn. Get Tiki involved. Through his gentle tone, there was a hint of fear in him too. But he knew about her flatmate, a friend, and that didn't sit well in her. She nodded her head again. Carefully, he released the grip of his hand on her mouth and leant back a little to give her space. A welcoming gulp of air hit her lungs. Sorry. Again, I just reacted before you went into attack mode. I know this. I know how this can seem. She had to play it calm, even if it went against every fibre of her body. Who are you? Why are you here? She tried to sound as natural as possible, but the waver in her voice gave away her anxiety. I'm Cat. No, it's not possible. Who are you really? I'm Cat Noir. She let out a long breath. How can she face this without causing a reaction? I understand that you might believe that you are Cat Noir, but I'm sorry to say, but he isn't real. He's a fictional character I made, Marinette. No, my name is Maria. I am the author, not a character. He rubbed the back of his neck as his head dropped. I knew this might be hard. Why don't you leave now? I won't call the police if you just leave. Please? I can't, Marinette. It's Maria, and I'm asking, begging you, leave now before... Oh, how can she persuade him? If she mentions Teeks, would that put her in harm's way too? Maria? I can't leave until you hear me out. I don't know how much time I have. I will give you 2 minutes. She made the gesture for him to move back a little and give her some space. That way maybe she could reach her phone. I will listen to what you have to say. She let out a long sigh. His gloved hand hovered out in front like he still wanted to touch her, but instead he took a step back. Thank you. This isn't your world. This isn't where you belong. You aren't who you think you are. I know this will be hard. That's your defense? That my world isn't real? I know I said 2 minutes, but really? Coming from a dressed up man in cosplay, standing in my bedroom? She stopped at the look of frustration in his face. Maybe she had stepped over the line. The last thing she wanted to do was to anger him in this situation. This isn't a cosplay outfit. This is a magical suit, powered by my Kwami. Oh, okay. Of course it is. She stopped herself again. No, play it cool. Rein it back in, Maria. It's a very good quality one. I give you that. But there are no such things as Kwamis. She placed a hand automatically on his shoulder and truly noticed for the first time how much taller he was. And it wasn't padding underneath, unlike some hero fancy dress outfits. He even took it to the extreme with his hair, the colour of blonde, the style. She would even say he was handsome. So why the act? I know in the books, the miraculous world can seem real. I know what it's like, wanting to escape your reality and get lost in another world. She paused when his hand landed on top of hers, pressing it against his suit, but this time there was a gentleness to the action and not a threat. Another shot of electricity sprinted through her body as her eyes darted towards his and noticed the sorrow in them. I can help. You need support. There are people who... I thought coming here would have made the difference. Unlike the other times. Maybe this way? Being in your room like it used to be. That might have triggered a thought, a memory, coming as Cat. Okay. She slipped her hand from underneath his and away from his body, taking another step backwards. Let's say that you are indeed Cat. What else? You want me to prove it to you? It hasn't worked before, but maybe. All the readers have access up to is book 4. They have no idea what I'm planning and the twists that are coming in book 5. Let's see if he can stay in character. Buy us some time. We've talked before, you say? Then yes, I think it will help. It's worth a shot. Really? I am Adrian Grass. My Kwame is Plug. My Miraculous is my ring. And I'm in love with Marinette. Adrian loves Ladybug. He doesn't realise that he's in love with Marinette yet. Ladybug is Marinette, but yes, I loved Ladybug and then discovered she was indeed you. There hasn't been a reveal yet, so how would Adrian Cat know that Ladybug is Marinette? Only the reader does, which, I'm sorry to say, I'm not a reader. This is me. I know you believe that you are him, but... She took a step back as he edged closer. Oh, he warned me against this, but I don't have a choice, he said as if thinking out loud, pursing his lips together. Okay, the best way to put it is, more time has passed for me, us, than you have written about. We are no longer the teenagers in the books. He paused, reading her expression. So... after Shadow Moth stole the Miraculous using your yo-yo and became Monarch, it was a hard battle for a while for Ladybug and Cat. But during that period, I fell in love with Marinette. We fell in love. Or I discovered that you had loved me. Anyway, that doesn't matter right now. But it resulted in us revealing our identities just before I found out who Monarch was. My father. We managed to get back the Miraculouses, the rings, but in an unexpected blow, we failed at gaining the butterfly Miraculous. And don't get me started on Felix. So now there's a new Hawkmoth. She held up her hands for him to stop. Okay. He had said information a reader would know. A lot of information. Cat. Adrian wouldn't know, but the rest? Half of it was already written out in book 5. Hadn't he said they met before? Whoever he was, maybe it wasn't the first time he had broken into a flat. Have you been here before? Did you break into my room before? She narrowed her eyes and stared at him. Really? The answer to what I've just told you is that I'm a burglar? Why? It would explain. You basically described my plotting sheet for book 5. You could have read my notebook. I wouldn't. I haven't broken into your room before. Have you even asked yourself how I could even manage to climb up here if I wasn't Cat? If I didn't have my bat on? You could use ropes. Marinette, I know all this because we lived it. This is our story. No, it's not possible. She waved her hands through the air. What he was saying was insane. He was insane. I have given you more than 2 minutes. I want you to leave. I can't do that. You promised. She stared back against the desk. He moved closer. I have lost too much time already. I can't leave until you believe me, Marinette. Please, come back to me. His hand was now cupping her cheek, her heart racing, the static causing butterflies to take flight in her stomach. I love you. I'm sorry for this, but I'm running out of options. He pressed his lips against hers. But it was strange. Something inside of her wanted to give in to the kiss. His lips felt like they belonged to her. Like she had done it countless of times to the point it became a daily habit. Without thinking, her arms automatically wrapped around his neck as she kissed him back. Maria, we're gonna be late. What are you thinking about? Alia wiggled her eyebrows with a smirk across her lips. Are you, by any chance, still daydreaming about the vivid dream you had? No. Yes. But it felt so... That cat visiting your room and trying to convince you that he really existed? Yeah, I know. And for the past 2 weeks, I no longer write romantic scenes before bed. Maria tried to laugh it off. Alia, not believing her words, peered at her friend over the rim of her glasses. I hate to say it, but I agree with Teeks. I'm starting to... You don't need to worry about me. I'm not going slowly insane. Teeks wandered into the living room, checking her phone before placing it into a bag. No, we aren't thinking that. It's just... I'm glad that you are joining us for the illuminations. The first Saturday is a tradition. Drinking mulled wine at the Christmas market? Picking out a new ornament for the tree? Not telling Papa Dupin about the gingerbread cookies? All 3 women let out a childish laugh. No, we are definitely not telling Papa about the ginger cookies. Do you remember what happened last time when we complimented another baker? Yeah, how he recruited Nino to become his spy and steal the recipe. Teek did a mock imitation of Nino, failing at being stealth, to hers and Maria's amusement. Hey now, my boy is amazing, an award-winning music producer, but his spy work needs some work, remarked Teeks. Yes, it does, but you know how he is. When he gets an idea like that in his head, he's a teenager again. He even took 3 days off work for Papa Dupin. I blame Papa for encouraging him. Them 2 together, I'm not sure which one is worse. Maria mused at the memories of the two together, joking around as they baked the newest treats. She had basically grown up with Nino through school, but it wasn't until Alia and Teeks transferred into a class in college that they began to form their own family. Well, at that point they had Adrian as well, but now, that was a long time ago. Speaking of which, we better go. Nino messaged and said he was able to cut out earlier than he thought, and he will meet us at our usual booth. Alia glanced at her phone and then at Maria and Teeks. He also said that he's bringing someone. Not another blind date. Please tell me you're not trying to set me up just before Christmas? Especially with my deadline, I don't have time, Maria protested whilst grabbing her umbrella and placing it into her bag. You can't keep being single. You do need to get out there more and meet other people, but no, this isn't a date and it's not, should I say, blind? What is that meant to mean? Maria tried to stare down her friend. I'm sure we shall see soon enough. Let's go! Teek stood at the front door, holding it open for the other two as if guiding little children out the door. Cat found himself with his arms empty in the middle of the street. The people, the traffic, the night shifting from day and back again became a colourful string of blurring lights. All he could do was watch, powerless as time shifted once again, hoping it wouldn't jump too far forward. The last jump had been 6 months, as her story leapt forward without him. The time wasn't his only issue. He was finding her again, searching this strange version of his city of Paris. One that Adrian was still a model, but Cat didn't exist. It had been a shock when he had discovered he could no longer amble the streets as Cat, or leap across the rooftops. Neither could he be Adrian just in case he was spotted or questioned by the other Adrian. But perhaps the worst part was discovering even that side of him was no longer beside his love. Suddenly everything stopped again. Grateful that he had turned back tonight, Cat darted off the street to a nearby alley and took out his baton. He opened the screen and braced himself for the date. 28th of November. He had lost 2 weeks this time. That wasn't too bad. Now all he needed to do was make it back to his base. Feed Plag a mountain of cheese. These time jumps didn't sit well with him, and hope Marinette still remembered their conversation. There. His fingers brushed against his lips. Oh, he knew it was wrong of him to do that. His little buddy had even warned him against acting rash, not to tell her too much and take it slow. That she believed this lie. And yet, part of him hoped it would trigger a memory. Something that would help to stop what was happening. To bring her back to him. Thank you for listening to Chapter 2, A Winter's Dream. I hope you are enjoying it so far. It's a really different AU, but it's really exciting and I love writing this one so far. So I hope you're enjoying it too. If you are, smash that like button. Send me some love. It really does help the channel and the algorithm and helps us share the story. Make sure you comment down below what you think of this part and what will happen in the next one, which will be coming out next week, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on this series and other new series that are happening at the moment and other one shots to come. And I hope you are all good, and I will speak to you soon. Bye.